Like it or not, British students are turning to sex work to pay their tuition fees. Siobhan Fenton argues that it's important that universities recognize this. Few students will disclose their status to fellow classmates or professors. No one wants to talk about it, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. From the boy who performs sex shows in front of his webcam between lectures, to the girl who goes on dinner dates with older men in return for rent checks, more and more British students are turning to escort and sex work to fund their degrees. Website Seeking Arrangement has revealed that the number of students signing up to their services to form arrangements with older men in return for their company has soared by 42% in the last year. Indeed, the site estimates that over a third of their users are students. A total of 1.4 million users claim, in their online profiles, to be students. At a talk last week at the University of Oxford, representatives from the English Collective of Prostitutes revealed that they've noticed a sharp spike of calls to their helpline by students since tuition fees were increased to £9,000. Sex work can be in the form of dates with older men, sex cam work, phone sex, or full prostitution. Few students will disclose their status to fellow classmates or professors. Many live in fear of being outed and being judged by their peers or excluded by their universities. Student sex workers are unclear about their status at the university, and many live in fear of being expelled or disciplined if their true source of income is known. Indeed, despite the swelling numbers of sex worker students, you'd be hard-placed to find a single university willing to talk about it. For many institutions, the issue is avoided at all costs for fear of courting bad publicity. But this doesn't help anyone. Similarly, government policy and practices utterly gloss over the reality of student sex work. Perhaps they fear that to acknowledge student sex workers would be to admit that their financial support for students is inadequate and that their policies have failed. Amongst the rare conversations on campus about sex work, opinions are polarized. For this camp, the sex worker is a strong individual choosing to benefit from a capitalist market than be consumed by it. As one student put it, it's called a blow job, not a blow hobby. Why would you give it out for free? Sex work is something that happens somewhere else, whether in gender studies textbooks or imaginary alleyways. But we need to look beyond the cliche of an anonymous woman standing on a street corner and realize that sex workers are in the lecture hall, library, or university laboratory instead. Students and universities alike need to realize that this is happening on campus. Moralizing only leads to marginalization, and denial will only leave students without support. Whether you like it or not, students in Britain are turning to sex work. Universities and the government need to start talking about it. Turning a prudish blind eye is an easy option, but a cowardly one too.